Imagine you make $50,000 a year. You work hard, you pay your taxes, and every April you write a check to the government. Now imagine your neighbor makes $50 million a year. He doesn't write a check. He actually gets money back. Same country, same laws, different results. How is that even possible? Because the tax code wasn't written for people like you and me. It was written for people like him. We're taught from a young age that taxes are fair. You earn money, you pay a percentage. Simple. But that's only true if your income comes from a paycheck. Here's the thing. The wealthiest people in the world almost never have a traditional paycheck. And that one fact changes everything. The US tax code and most tax codes around the world were built around wage income. Work a job, earn money, pay a percentage. But the ultra-wealthy figured out a long time ago that wages are the worst way to receive money if you want to keep it. So they stopped taking wages entirely. And what they do instead is something so simple, so legal, and so hidden in plain sight that it will probably make you angry. Here is how the system actually works. A billionaire like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos owns stock, shares in the companies they built. That stock is worth billions of dollars. But as long as they don't sell it, they owe zero tax on it. None. Unrealized gains, that's the technical term, are invisible to the IRS. So how do they spend their money without selling their stock? They borrow it. They walk into a bank, point at their portfolio, and say, "Lend me $100 million. The bank says yes. They spend the money, buy the yacht, buy the mansion. And here is the beautiful or devastating, depending on which side you're on, part. Loans are not income. You do not pay taxes on borrowed money. Then, when they eventually die, their heirs inherit the assets at their current value, not the original purchase price. This is called a stepped-up basis, and it means decades of gains simply disappear for tax purposes, completely legally, completely by design. The strategy even has a name on Wall Street. They call it buy, borrow, die. Let's make this real. In 2021, investigative journalists at ProPublica obtained IRS records and found that between 2014 and 2018, Elon Musk paid zero in federal income taxes 2 out of 5 years. Jeff Bezos paid zero in 2007 and 2011. These weren't tax cheats. They weren't hiding money in offshore accounts. They simply had no taxable income to report because they owned assets, not wages. Meanwhile, a nurse making $60,000 a year pays an effective tax rate of around 22%. A teacher, a firefighter, a software engineer, all paying higher percentages than some of the wealthiest humans on Earth. Warren Buffett, the third richest man in the world, famously said his secretary paid a higher tax rate than he did. He said it in public on the record to Congress, and nothing changed. Now here is where it gets psychologically interesting. Why don't people revolt? Why does the system persist? Partly because it's designed to be confusing. Tax law is written in dense, technical language. It fills volumes. The complexity itself is a feature, not a bug. When ordinary people can't understand the rules, they can't change the rules. But there's something deeper. Researchers call it system justification theory. Studies show that human beings have a powerful psychological need to believe the systems they live under are fair and legitimate. Even people who are disadvantaged by a system will often defend it because the alternative, that the game is rigged, is too uncomfortable to accept. It's easier to believe that billionaires deserve their billions and that one day, with enough hard work, you'll be there too. That belief is not an accident. It's been carefully cultivated through decades of media, culture, and political messaging. The technical term for this is narrative capture. The story that the system is fair serves the people at the top, and they're very good at telling it. So what is the actual lesson here? Number 1, the wealthy think in assets, not income. Every dollar they accumulate goes into something that grows without triggering taxes: stocks, real estate, businesses. Number 2, they use debt as a tool. Borrowing against assets lets them access liquidity without a taxable event. Number 3, they play the long game. The buy, borrow, die strategy only works if you never sell. Patience is not just a virtue, it's a tax strategy. Number 4, understanding the rules is the first step to using them. You don't have to be a billionaire to start thinking like one. Even small investors can choose tax-advantaged accounts, understand capital gains versus income tax rates, and structure their finances to minimize what they lose to the government. Knowledge is not enough on its own, but ignorance guarantees you play by the rules written for someone else. The system is not broken. It's working exactly as designed, just not for most of us. The first people who understood electricity didn't cause a revolution by being angry about the dark. They learned how the light switch worked. The same is true here. Get angry if you want, but then get educated, because the rules are in writing. They are public record, and no law says you can't use them. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to understand how compound interest, real estate, and equity work together to build real wealth, hit subscribe, because this is only the beginning.